just like to first happy birthday. It's tomorrow, but happy birthday to all of us here. You also play different kinds of instruments. Can you tell us something about your the instruments you choose to play? The clarinet, saxophone. Which one is your which one do you feel the most comfortable?
Well, I really started out trying to play clarinet, and I did that for a long time, just studying classical music. And I guess I never really got comfortable with the atmosphere of classical music, but I liked the music. And then I went and I studied some piano, and I was really more interested in writing, like kind of Latin arranging and stuff like that. So I guess clarinet, everything that I did, I tried to learn it on the clarinet. Now I'm more into the E-flat clarinet. I'm really feeling that more than E-flat clarinet, more than bass clarinet. So right now I would say the E-flat clarinet and tenor saxophone are the most interesting things to play, but I'm tackling some other instruments like steel drum, tackling some other things. But the clarinet is it's the thing that I thought the most about. It's the instrument that I spent the most time in a pedagogy, like a formal pedagogy study with teachers and stuff like that, which doesn't really have anything to do with jazz, but it's very difficult to play anything physically on the clarinet if you don't have some training. So all of us that play some jazz clarinet, we all have this background usually.
And you mentioned you worked and you work as an educator. When you first see your students, young musicians, is there something that you like to say to them first time when you see them as an advice?
Gee, I mean, the thing that I worry the most about is rhythm. I think once you have good rhythm, everything else can kind of fall into place. But if you don't have naturally great rhythm, then you actually have to work on it. All the students I've had, that seems to be their weakness, is being serious about keeping good rhythm, like a drummer.
So words have rhythm also, and you worked with words of Paul Auster, and you presented that work also to students. 15 years ago, Paul Auster wrote a book called In the Land of Last Things. Do you think that, has anybody read that novel, In the Land of Last Things? It's about things, it's about this world where things are tended to be forgotten, and the memory of those things disappear also. So do you think that music, and that can be the question for both of you, music has this capability to survive and not to be forgotten as a phenomenon?
Well, yeah, I think that, first of all, everything that exists on the planet is, if you want to look at it that way, is music, in a way. Rhythm, we all move around. So I think as long as there's life existing, there'll be music, and I think there'll be people like myself and Jerome, who feel that music has the capability to try to help make the world a better place. So, with that intention, I think that it will definitely stay around. It will be like a garden, it's like a garden, like you plant seeds. And that's what I think we're doing. That's my idea.
Yeah, I very much agree that we're planting seeds and fertilizing cultural soil, you know, and that is a lot of the work of a artist, no matter, you know, musical artists, visual artists, writers, poets, etc. Sometimes I wonder about music being forgotten in a way, because obviously if it's just being played and being heard and not being recorded, you know, it goes from the artist to the audience members and it just lives on in their memory. If it's recorded, certain aspects of the music is recorded, but a lot of the cultural meaning, the particular atmosphere of the venue, all of these things, you know, are not captured. And it's interesting to me, you know, a lot of people hear music these days and have not much sense of the cultural environment and the aesthetic environment that the music evolved in and came from. You know, we hear these MP3s, you know, there's no liner notes even. Sometimes you don't even see photos of the artists. You know, it's like these sounds, they could be from Mongolia, from the Bronx, from Sarajevo, and, you know, we hear them, and unless you make an effort to check out the context, you know, the context can be detached from the sounds of the recording, and so maybe something can be lost in that way. You know.
So you think that music, well, that's especially the case in traditional music. You cannot extract a traditional music form without knowing the context, the anthropology and ethnology of it, of the entire context. So, do you think that live sessions and live recordings are very important?
Well, you know, I think in the past 10, 20 years, people don't make a lot of live recordings. And I think it's really kind of sad. I mean, I've been on major labels a lot of the time in that period, and it's very difficult to convince a label to do a live record. And they have their reasons for that. But, you know, I can just think of several artists that I follow that until you really heard a live record that they played, you have no idea how they played. You know, like there's Joe Henderson in a recording session, and then there's Joe Henderson live at, you know, Nat Adderley live at Memory Lane, or the stuff that he did with Wynton Kelly, which is way further open, or something. You know, even Sonny live is wow. You know, it's not that the studio recordings are so bad. It's just that it's just this energy, you know, and an artist's reaction to energy, you know. So, on the other hand, some people just make really good studio records, and they're really good at like manipulating those elements and being programmatic. I think when I record, I more think like that. So, I guess they're two different things.